Hey guys, it's Renee. I just recorded the Adventureland episode of my Read With Me Haunted Disneyland, and I was just too excited to record the next part, which is New Orleans Square, so I just decided I'm gonna do it now, in the same shirt with the same makeup on the same day. If you haven't already, go ahead and watch the first 3 parts of this Read With Me series. It's from the book Disneyland's Haunted Kingdom by Aubrey Graves. It's a really fun little book to read. I'll link the first 3 videos down below if you want to go ahead and check those out. I've already done Main Street USA, I have done Fantasyland, and I've done Adventureland. So this one's going to be New Orleans Square, which is my favorite part of this book. Pretty lengthy part of this book, so this is going to be a longer episode. Without further ado, let's get started. Based on the haunted city of New Orleans, Louisiana, this 3-acre land contains streets with tall buildings and balconies with Victorian wrought iron fencing, sometimes decorated with colorful and shiny Mardi Gras beads and paper lanterns. Live jazz music is played all throughout the day, giving the authentic feel of the Deep South in the 19th century. Since the 60s, dozens of people claim to have experienced paranormal activity throughout New Orleans Square. Countless guests and employees have seen, heard, and felt ghosts on the streets and in the buildings of the quaint French Quarter. In recent years, a cast member was working the graveyard shift, and the area was almost completely empty. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, it's always 2 o'clock in the morning, guys, or 3 o'clock in the morning, when they had a very spine-chilling encounter. On a break, she began walking toward Rivers of America and suddenly began to hear the sound of children playing. It was coming from Tom Sawyer's Island. As she looked in that direction, she saw shadow figures near the shore. A custodian walked by and asked her, "You hear the boys playing?" I jumped about 90 feet in the air, and when I looked back, the voices and shadows were gone, says a Disneyland cast member. Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean opened 3 months after Walt Disney's death in 1967. So this was the last attraction that he actually got to work on. The 15-minute underground attraction features 75 animatronic pirates who sing, fight, drink, steal, kidnap, and sell women, creating mass destruction and so forth. The attraction is said to be haunted by a few spirits. One is a little boy who is occasionally seen riding in one of the boats. Cast members allege seeing his apparition on the video monitors. When the boat arrives back to the loading dock, it's empty. Some wonder if the boy's remains were strewn somewhere around the attraction, causing his haunting. One's remains don't need to be in the vicinity to haunt it. He could have just really loved the attraction when he was alive and enjoys haunting it in death. I don't know why I said that with such a happy tone. Numerous cast members claim to see Walt Disney's apparition appear occasionally around the attraction, of course, generally after hours. Because he died before the ride was complete, it is understandable why he's seen around the ride admiring what he missed. This is the Dream Suite. The 2,200 square foot Dream Suite, located above the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, opened in 2008. The luxurious apartment contains 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a large living room, and a patio. Walt always wanted a guest suite, but died soon after construction had begun, and so the project was put aside until 2008. From 1987 to 2007, the building was used as the Disney Gallery, which focused on the layout of the park, displaying dioramas and photos. Numerous cast members claim that several spirits haunt the apartment, saying that their hair stands up when they walk into the building. Rumors state that if a cast member angers a guest in what used to be the Disney Gallery, something on a high shelf randomly falls and hits them in the head. During its gallery years, an employee said that she heard an object falling at closing time. She turned around to see that something had fallen 6 feet away from where it had sat. Walt Disney and his wife Lily, as well as Walt's brother Roy and a woman named Mary, have all been witnessed and felt in the Dream Suite by more than a few people. I felt Walt's presence in the Disney Gallery, now the Dream Suite, one night. There were only a couple people there, and I came into a real cold spot. I looked to see if there were any air conditioning vents in the vicinity, but there were none. I let my mind go blank and picked up whatever feelings were around me. I picked up the super strong feeling it was Walt. Okay, so this is the Blue Bayou, which is the restaurant that you see at the beginning of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. As you're at the beginning of the ride, going through the dark part of the bayou, you look to your right and you see a restaurant, Blue Bayou. The Blue Bayou restaurant, adjoining the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, originated in 1967. The dark, charming restaurant is lit with beautiful lanterns, candles, and fireflies overlooking boats floating along the water of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. This, the finest dining location in the park, is claimed to be haunted by spirits. Cast members talk amongst themselves about a male apparition that has been witnessed on occasion. In recent years, a psychic claimed to have had a pleasant chat with a spirit by the name of Sue while dining at the Blue Bayou. Now we're moving on to Club 33. The private bar for the rich and famous in New Orleans Square opened in 1967 and is still the only bar throughout the park today. There is a long waiting list for the high-profile guests and a fee of $10,000 to join the club. The bar was named after its address, 33, and is tucked away in an overlooked corner within New Orleans Square. Walt Disney's spirit, as well as other ghosts, are believed to visit the club. The ghost of a female patron has been witnessed in the bar, as has the apparition of a man. Cast members claimed to see and smell Walt's classy French cigarette smoke on the staircase and have claimed to feel his presence at times during hours of darkness. One cast member had a mysterious encounter when she, a co-worker, and their boss were closing up late one night. The employee watched as the club manager walked past her and went out the door to the Blue Bayou. The cast member began to yell out to him, but he didn't respond. It turned out that her boss was actually on the opposite end of the building with her co-worker. She believes that whatever she saw walk out of the club was a ghost, and she's now scared to walk through the park on her own after closing the bar at 2 a.m. Always 2 a.m. Okay, so this is the longest part of this episode, the Haunted Mansion. Welcome, foolish mortals, to one of the most haunted attractions in Disneyland. Coincidence? Maybe not. It is said that since the attraction opened in 1969, Disneyland welcomed real spirits to reside in the mansion to make it much more authentic. Legend has it that the Ouija board beneath Madame Leota on the table in the seance room has been used in real seances. Ouija boards are known to be portals, and after one is used, the door remains open. With Leota calling out to the spirits, human remains being spread around by guests in a dark, welcoming home dedicated to the dead. It's the perfect atmosphere for spirits after closing time. Over the years, there have been innumerable accounts of paranormal activity on the grounds of the Haunted Mansion. There have been several ghost sightings throughout the ride and on the front steps, usually during the witching hour. Strange, disembodied footsteps, knocks, voices, and music have been heard in and around the attraction, as well as shadows seen moving when the ride isn't operating. And claims of hair being pulled and the touch of invisible hands. Several areas of the attraction are said to be exceptionally haunted, such as the loading area, the seance room, the ballroom, the attic, and the dune buggy exit. So basically the whole entire thing. I was passing the entrance to the Haunted Mansion and I felt someone touch my shoulder. I immediately turned and looked around and saw that there was no one close to me. Says probably, it doesn't say here, but that's a quote from a cast member. During the first year of the attraction's construction, workers claimed to have heard strange mumblings and grumblings in the corridors. They would investigate the sounds and turn up with nothing. Over the years, more employees reported hearing the muffled voices around the mansion when the ride was not operating. One spirit that has been witnessed most frequently is the ghost of a little boy. According to legend, the little boy loved the Haunted Mansion. Unfortunately, a fatal disease claimed his young life. His mother got permission from Disneyland in the early 60s to have a small memorial for the boy inside the attraction. His mother asked if she could spread his ashes around the ride, and of course the answer was no. But she did it anyway. It is said that soon after the incident, the little boy's spirit was seen and heard, particularly near the end of the ride. Dozens of people claim to have the same eerie encounter, witnessing the boy sitting in the corner crying for his mother. When employees and guests walk up to assist him, he will sometimes ask for his mother and then disappears before their eyes. Cast members have felt the sensation of a child pulling on their clothing, and one even claimed to have found dusty child-sized handprints on her skirt after hearing a child giggling during closing time in the attic. On my way out of the ride, I saw a boy crying by the speed ramp. I then asked him where his parents were. My cousin asked who I was talking to. No one saw the boy, just me. That's a quote from a guest. I spoke with a cast member who worked at a vendor cart overlooking Rivers of America in New Orleans Square. I asked her if she had ever experienced any paranormal activity in the area. I haven't, but one of my good friends who is a ride operator in the Haunted Mansion told me she's seen the ghost of a little boy. She told me she's seen him peeking around corners in the mansion and covered in what looks like dust. My friend says she usually sees him on Halloween and swears by it. According to a local psychic, another little boy has been haunting the area since he was killed on the property where the haunted mansion stands, long before it was an amusement park. As the story goes, the little boy by the name of Brandon and his stepfather took a hike into the orange groves where his father tragically killed him and then hanged himself. Brandon is now said to haunt the mansion's cemetery in the area where he died long ago, and this is according to the local psychic. I have seen him wearing a red cap in the graveyard, usually playing, said the psychic. Other spirits have been witnessed occupying the cemetery when the ride is closed. A couple of individuals tell stories of witnessing the apparition of a Victorian woman walk into the mansion through the wall late in the night. The ghost of a man has also been spotted walking right through the carriage hearse. One guest, who always claimed to be a skeptic, had a very unusual encounter that left him without explanation and in wonderment. The guest had just arrived at the park with a fully charged electric wheelchair and decided to ride the haunted mansion first. He claims he heard an eerie, disembodied whisper when he first arrived. I heard a voice in my right ear coming from the blank wall to the right of the stairs. When the guest got off the ride, he noticed that the batteries in his wheelchair and MP3 player were almost completely drained. I had to call to leave the park and barely made it back to the vehicle. The wheelchair was recharged at home, and it has been fine ever since. The apparition of a man in a tuxedo has been witnessed by cast members and guests during closing. One worker could only see the apparition when looking into a mirror near the end of the ride. Another ghost, known as the man with the cane, has been witnessed around the attraction generally after closing. People may joke about the haunted mansion, but I really think it's haunted. I was at loading and nobody was there because it was near closing, and a voice said, "Get out." Then I felt a tug on my hair. I almost died. That's a quote from a Disneyland cast member. It was seriously dead for a Saturday night, no pun intended. We thought we were the last in line until we heard and felt someone jogging behind us. It was almost unnerving. The freaky part, no one was there. That's a quote from a Disneyland guest. During the hours of darkness, 2 employees heard the beating of a drum coming from the seance room after closing. The further we got in, the louder it would get, the employee said. I interviewed my friend, paranormal investigator Karen Kalinski from San Jose, California, about her unnerving encounter in the haunted mansion. It was approximately 25 years ago in the late 80s, and she had yet to believe in the paranormal, leaning more toward the skeptical side during that period of her life. Karen and her husband were riding in a doom buggy in the ballroom scene, watching the amazing illuminations of the animated spirits dance, when she was touched by an unseen force on the front of both of her shoulders. Something jumped out and grabbed me, physically grabbed me, Karen exclaimed. It was kind of in an aggressive way. It didn't hurt, but it was a firm grip. I jumped and screamed, and my husband was like, "What?" I said, somebody grabbed me, so for the rest of the ride I was freaking out. That's according to Karen. She also explained how the doom buggies are tall and have sides, so it's not as if any cast member could have reached in and scared her. Not believing in the paranormal at the time, Karen believed there had to be some kind of explanation that involved the living. So I was convinced that it was either someone who worked there or someone got off the ride and was grabbing people to freak them out. Karen got off the ride and mentioned to the staff about her encounter. A cast member did say that there are employees who hide in dark corners of the attraction, and it's against their policy to touch people or scare them, but it has happened before. The cast member did mention that it's very well lit where Karen had her encounter, so there's no room for anyone to hide. They said that there has been paranormal activity in that area, and they've gotten reports, and I'm thinking, that's just crazy. But as the years have gone by, it's like, I think that was something paranormal. So every time I've been on a doom buggy since, I've really been looking around and wondering where someone could have been hiding. I have no way of explaining it, and I really truly think it was something paranormal, Karen said. In recent years, a guard recorded 4 Disneyland security monitors that oversee locations near the Haunted Mansion. I'm sure you guys have heard of this video. The video footage shows a translucent apparition of a man walking along the path of the Haunted Mansion and passing through the closed gates. The ghost moved from one monitor to the next, and you can even see that the anomaly was affecting the lights along the street. It is clear that the video couldn't have been edited since it came directly from the Disneyland security cameras. The video can be seen on YouTube. Obviously, I'll link it down below, actually. Inspiration for the Haunted Mansion is often attributed to Walt Disney's experiences in World War I. Popular legend suggests that he built the beautiful mansion to give a home to wandering spirits. So that is all of the paranormal activity that has been reported in New Orleans Square, and I think that's a ton. I've heard from a lot of people that they've had really weird experiences in Pirates and Haunted Mansion, so I kind of believe it. Alright guys, so I know that was a really long video, hoping you stuck with me for it, and that it was interesting for you guys. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and hit that notification bell if you want to be updated about my next video. And this next episode of this book that I'm reading is going to be Frontierland, so that's a pretty cool one too. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye!